Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, Anita Finley.
Well, we're going to hear some very special news about our latest and most beautiful community. It's called the Four Seasons at Parkland. And so we're going to talk about the 55-plus community there and see what happened. And Derek Fenech is the president of the the Hovnanian Home Southeast Florida Division, and it's a very big, exciting opportunity here. There are only 538 homes, and you know when you think about that, that's going to go pretty fast because 55 and older active adult communities have been sprouting up, but they don't look like this one. A lot of them have all sorts of smaller homes, and they're for the people who maybe are downsizing. But this isn't necessarily that. This is for probably a lot of people who've lived up north. They're now down here. They're renting. They're waiting. And they waited for something as gorgeous as what you're going to see here. So I know you're very pleased with what you had at your little opening. What do you call that? A warm opening? Or
we called it our VIP event. And we had a small lottery as a result. The VIP, but we actually had to separate it into 2 days because we had so many people RSVP for the event. All in all, we had over I don't know the exact number, but it was over 700 people visit us over 2 days. We had the event at the Heron Bay Marriott down in Heron Bay. And, we educated the customers on what the community is going to look like. We also had some realtors join because obviously they are interested in the community. And at the end of each day, with a small deposit, you could put your name into a lottery. And we had 25 customers. We were only offering, a handful of houses anyway with the lottery event. And, we're now meeting with the 25 customers that were drawn for the lottery event and writing contracts to date. We've written close to 12 with the other members of the lottery scheduled to meet this week with our sales team.
It's very exciting when you think about it because, they talk about the economy, but the interest rates are low now. If you're going to do this is the time to do it, isn't it?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, historically, you haven't seen interest rates actually stay at this level for this period of time for quite some time. Even back in the early 80s when rates were, what were they, close to 18%?
Yeah, I think I had that story. If you could even get a mortgage.
Sure.
It was very hard.
I mean, homes, home values, obviously, because of inflation and everything go up, but the interest rates obviously offset that. And not that this is, not that rentals are really our market, but the price of rent is even just skyrocketing. So if you really just did the math, it really makes more sense to own now versus renting. If you have the credit and are able to qualify, obviously, which, the clientele that we're catering to, Four Seasons at Parkland, obviously is we shouldn't have any qualification issues with who we're selling to there.
Right. And so thinking about this, you, of course, K. Hovnanian is such a well-respected real estate organization. And so when people, they're not going to question the builder. Like I know so many times people come down, they don't know anybody, they go into some sort of a community, before you know it, things didn't turn out the way they thought. At least you do want to go to companies that have been building and that you don't have to worry about it.
Correct. We build in, I believe it's 19 states. Our corporate office in New Jersey, our company's been in business since 1958. It's a public company, but a family member is still, Ara Hovnanian is still our CEO, taking over the legacy of his father. And, as far as the quality of construction, I'm actually the general contractor who qualifies and has to sign off on every building permit that we do. So even my personal name and reputation is on every single house that we build in South Florida.
So wait a minute. So you don't have outside builders coming in on your lots. You're building everything yourself.
We have a construction team. So, each community has its own construction manager. In this case, we'll have 3 construction managers at Four Seasons because of the size of the community. And at Four Seasons, there's 3 different, we call it product lines. We have homes that fit on 50-foot wide lots, 60-foot wide lots, and 75-foot lots. But for South Florida, I actually am the one that works with the design professionals, signs every permit application. I actually go out there myself and physically inspect the homes that we're building. Obviously the company's name is on the home, but also my personal reputation is on a home, so it's very important to me.
It is. It certainly is, and it's important. All right, so let's talk now about pre-sale. So how long do you think, once these people have signed, and people are listening now, they want to come out there, so when can I move into my house? In 2 years?
No, not too much sooner than that. We should have our first deliveries scheduled for May of 2016.
Excellent.
The models will be starting construction actually any day now.
As we speak.
And they'll be completing in phases because there are 12 models. It's a big model park, and the models will start getting completed end of December, early January, and trickling into February and March. We plan on having our grand opening of the model park sometime in March of 2016.
Okay, I'm writing all that down. So then, let me just put it down over here. So, all right, so now people can come, and they are going to choose the home, not from really seeing it as a model, but just seeing it from the drawings and what you tell them. So they're going to get it at much less money than once that model is up, aren't
Correct.
they?
Now we have provided some, visual aids. We have floor plans. We have exterior renderings. But we also, for every model type that we're offering, we actually did some interior virtual modeling where a customer can actually, move the mouse around. We actually have what we call these Google Cardboard glasses where you can put your cell phone in there and move your head around, and it's as if you're in the house looking around. It's actually really neat technology.
So if I come out there, can I have someone show me that?
Sure.
I have never seen that.
Yeah,
so it's
very
really a
interesting.
Google Glass, and you can look at it?
Correct. Or you can have, if you had an iPad, you can sort of hold your iPad in front of you and move it around, and it's as if you're looking in the family room. It's and I got to tell you, like, the quality is really well done. I mean, you're actually shocked that it's a rendering. The technology nowadays is really just, it's out there.
It is. My guest is Derek Fenech, and he is the president of the K. Hovnanian Homes in Southeast Florida. We're now talking about the 538-home Four Seasons community in Parkland. It's the northwest corner of Broward County along the Loxahatchee Road. It is for 55 and older. And, of course, 55-year-olds are so young-looking, it's hard to even know that. In fact, you may not know this, but there are 55-year-olds who don't even tell people they're 55 except they have to in order to move in there, but they don't really want to be 55. It's like it's the 35-year-olds that are moving into the 55-year-old communities, right?
Sure. I mean, age is just a number.
You just had to do
That's
that.
how you
so
feel.
there are no children, right?
No children.
But there's no children, but grandchildren, of course, from time to time. Now, let's just talk about, let's see, I was going to say it's 400,000 to 700,000. That's probably on the 75-foot lots, but it's going to feature so many things. I'm going to let you tell us about that. If we walked into this beautiful community when it's finished, let's say in March, you think it'll be that people can walk in and there'll be models there?
That's correct.
What are we going to love? What's going to make us walk and say, oh, we have to live here? What do you think?
Well, the community perspective, there's a 25,000 square foot clubhouse that's planned for the community. We have, I want to say it's 5 or 6, I forget the exact number, tennis courts, pickleball courts. We have bocce ball courts, half court basketball, a couple of pools. In the clubhouse itself, we have multiple gym areas. Yoga will have obviously some fitness classes, multiple card rooms, arts and crafts rooms, a big ballroom. So we'll have community events, from time to time. As you approach a community, there's obviously 2 beautiful entry monuments with some fountains, and it's actually going to be a guarded community. So there'll be a guardhouse as you come through. The models themselves, I mentioned earlier that the 3 different product lines. Our smallest one starts at 1,900 square feet, and then we jump to 2,200 square feet and go up to almost, I believe it's like 3,700 square feet. But the model homes themselves are it's different. It's not like your typical, I would call it, it's not, our architectural team puts a lot of effort into creating product that actually outlasts the time it's in. What I mean by that is we're forward looking. We put some features in there that you don't even know that you want right now, but you will know when you're living there.
Like you walk in and everything lights up and then get your coffee started and all those right things.
We like to focus on entertainment a lot in our homes because obviously when you're at retirement age, you want to have friends and family over. Right. So we have very large kitchen islands for gathering. A couple of our plans actually have what we call double islands. So there's one island for gathering while the other island can still be prepared for food. We have a few courtyard plans, meaning when you walk in towards the front of your house, there's a courtyard area, so you can actually have some outdoor living in the front as well as the back of the home. We focus on our bathrooms. We have a few options there. We have what we call as our typical 5-piece bath, which is like 2 sinks, a toilet, a tub, and a shower. But what we find around the country even is that a lot of customers don't really use the tub very often. I mean, some do and some don't. Like I have a tub in my home, and I've probably been in it like 3 years since I've been there for 14 years.
Because you don't have children.
Sure, exactly.
Little kids need a tub.
But you always have a secondary bathroom that has a tub in case you need to get somebody about. But we have this option. We call it the wow shower. It's like a spa shower.
The wow shower. Okay.
It's a large shower, double heads. We put rain shower heads in the ceiling. Some massaging jets on the side. It's sort of like sitting in a tub and having a spa experience, but you're standing and you can actually have it every single day as you're, getting ready for your day. So little features like that really.
It sounds like I have to tell you, I was, when we have our big Boomer Expo at Seminole Hard Rock, we stay the night before. And when we're lucky enough to get one of those bathrooms, it's just like that. You walk in and the rain's coming down on you in the shower. It's lovely.
It's one of those things where I always say that throughout the day, it's the little things that make your day great. Yeah. And, especially, when you're getting up and you're getting ready, I mean, it's a great start to your day to feel, I want to say pampered, but you kind of feel like you're in a little spa before you start. And some people's days are hectic, so it's nice to get some stress out of the way even before you can start your day.
Well, I think that, and I may be wrong, but I think that boomers, at least two things in my house are most important: the kitchen and the bathroom.
Sure.
And am I strange? Or
no, that's it. And what we also find is becoming, I would say, the third most important item is outdoor living space, because I see, I believe I mentioned it the last time I was here, is that the interior space is naturally transcending to the outdoor space. We have a few options where we call it a disappearing corner, where typically, where your breakfast room is and your great room, there's a structural corner there. Well, we've actually constructed our homes in such a way, or offer an option to do this, where that structural corner goes away and you can actually open up your sliding glass doors and have a total view out to the outside. So it's almost like a, wraparound opening that you can extend out to the outside of your home. It's really something. It's really beautiful when it's done the right way.
Do you actually have being the general manager, do you have a choice in the architecture? Like you're talking about, you're loving this.
One of my backgrounds is actually, I'm an architect and a general contractor.
This is getting more interesting all the time.
So my,
no wonder they grabbed
this is what
you.
I do. My background is obviously in design and in the way that the homes are being built. I always, because I went to University of Florida and got degrees in both. And, I always sort of like the fact that I got both, because sometimes people that are design oriented maybe don't have the best operating minds, and sometimes the people that are good operators don't have the best design minds. I like to think I can really mesh the two together very well.
No, I didn't realize that about you. That is fabulous. So now I can see. So when you're deciding, you've been with the community from the beginning.
Correct.
So
I've been with the company for 15 years, so I've been here for quite some time.
Which which did you work with before this new
I worked at WCI, actually, before I worked for Hovnanian back in the late 90s.
But with Hovnanian, so how you couldn't have been working on this that long?
Oh, no. We've been working on this community since middle of 2014.
And what did you do before this one?
We've built probably hundreds and hundreds of homes in the South Florida market. On average, I mean, obviously during a downturn, our community count went to a smaller amount. But we built communities in Palm Beach Gardens and in West Palm Beach.
So that's what you've
Wellington.
been doing. But this is your latest and your newest total community like this that you put a lot
As
of.
far as active adult, we actually had another 55 and older community in Delray called Four Seasons at Delray Beach. It's on Atlantic and 441.
Yes, I know where that is, and that's right. That's yours. I didn't realize that.
So,
now
yeah.
that you say that.
So we finished that community up, and that was our last active adult community.
So
that we
could
did.
people go out there to see? It's going to be different, though. If they go out there, it's not going to be like the one in Parkland.
No, the one in Parkland, I mean, Four Seasons at Delray was beautiful, but Parkland, the architectural styles are different. Parkland has more natural stone. I'll call it more of a traditional look. But also Parkland itself is it's an expensive zip code.
Yes.
So obviously the home designs we built at Four Seasons at Delray Beach are totally different than what we're building here. These are much more of a upscale. A step up from Four Seasons. I'm not trying to diminish what we did at Four Seasons, but it's a step above Four Seasons.
Yeah, well, it's a different location.
Sure.
And that's what required to be like this. So what about the people moving in? Aren't a lot of those people still working? I mean, we talk about retirees, but people 55 now, 60 are working.
Sure. I always ask myself if I can actually ever retire. I always feel like I'd be bored.
Of course you will.
I haven't reached that age yet, so you never know.
No, but you'll do other things. Maybe you'll just now go back to architecture.
Sure, exactly.
Write books.
What we see a lot of is, especially with Northeasterners, because we were mentioning it earlier, interest rates are still fantastic. Prices in South Florida, because, I mean, if you just look at a satellite shot of South Florida, there's not a lot of land left in South Florida.
Right.
So, obviously, pricing appreciation is going to continue over the next, upcoming years. So if you're looking to retire, looking to relocate from the Northeast down here, we see a lot of people actually buying the home and maybe just, using it seasonally until they're actually ready to move down here permanently because they don't want to miss out on the value that you can get today.
Of course.
Or same thing, you're not 65 yet, you're not ready to retire, but you want to, plan for your future. Your kids have moved out, you have grandchildren, you still want to keep them close, but don't want to have them running around the streets as much. So you might want to choose this option to plan for that. But yeah, a lot of people just, like to work.
No, people want to work. They're still very young. I mean, 55, 65, that's still young. So Derek, can you rent out that house before you actually move into it?
We have rental provisions in our contracts where we don't allow rentals. I believe it's you have to live in the home for a period of 12 months before you can rent it out.
I see. So people, it's really their home, but if they decide, I see. So they couldn't just have it built, rent
That's correct.
it, and then
the other side is we also have in the HOA provisions that only a small percentage of the homes in a community can be rented. And the reason for that is we're really building homes for.
It's a community.
It's a community. We don't want it to have to be a rental community. But we understand that, a very small percentage can be rented out. But obviously there's strict HOA guidelines and credit checks and things of that nature
that's
to
very
make sure
important.
that it's the value is
Sure.
where it needs to be.
Sure, that's important. So tell us about the financing. What does can they put down 20%? Do you have 80% mortgages?
Our mortgage company has a bunch of different programs depending upon your needs. Right now, the deposit it's not 20%. I think we're only taking 5% down for a down payment at this point in time. And obviously, as you pick options, we may ask you to put a little bit more down depending upon the dollar amount of options you put in your home.
In other words, someone can move in at 5% of their mortgage?
Correct.
No way.
Your down payment could be 5%. You just have to finance the rest if that's what you choose to do.
And so people, though, who then have a VA and FHA, you meet all those requirements, I'm sure.
That's correct.
So a VA, because that goes up to $450 for a veteran. You know that.
Yes.
So you're saying a veteran could put 5% down as long as he has the credit and get in there.
That's correct.
I'm falling off my chair.
I mean, obviously,
we have a lot of veterans here, who ought to really take advantage of that.
Yeah, and obviously the mortgage process has a lot of moving parts. So as you're applying, we have our own mortgage company for the country, so they obviously work with our customers to find the best program available for them.
But the nice thing, and this is happening with condos, that there are people or homes that weren't built properly. The VA will not accept it. It has to be a properly built with all the bells and whistles.
Sure.
And so you are VA approved.
We are. And
no one probably ever asked you that. I mean, that's really important.
Yeah, well, we have other communities where we have VA loans that we have to meet the requirements. I mean, one of the things we see with the VA is that they actually want, sometimes you can get your loan approved, a few weeks before the closing or the house is 100% complete. But with VA loans, they want to make sure that all the finishes are in there, all of the appliances that need to be in there are in there. So I mean, that's the only nuance from the construction side is you have to just make sure it's finished a little bit sooner in order to meet the delivery date that we promise to the customer and items like that. But yeah, I mean, we do VA loans.
Wow, Derek, I think, there may be people listening now because, at our Boomer Expo, we dedicate it to the veterans. And so we have a very large listening audience of veterans. These are people from Vietnam and Korea and who are really interested. And so I'm happy to hear that. That was something
Great.
I think, it's one of those side things that people don't know because I know mortgages are low now and people can probably get, but I don't think you can get in at 5%.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 5% is typically our standard down payment. And like I mentioned, is like at a certain point, and like if somebody goes and puts $300,000 worth of upgrades in the home,
of course
we're probably going to ask to put a little bit more cash down for something like that.
Can they
for
really
the most
put $300,000 upgrades?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, they can really put as much as they want as long as they cover.
Well, they want a pool. I mean,
we offer pools. We offer tons of high-end
spas
upgrades.
And,
sure.
And all, but they don't even have that. No, that's okay. No, but
You'd be surprised.
I'm sure.
We've actually had customers put $150,000 pool packages in their homes, and that's on top of everything else.
Well, tell me about the kitchens, the appliances, and I think that's the first thing the women want to know. What kind of appliances are you putting in here?
Sure. I mean, we double ovens are standard, cooktops are standard. We have our GE, I think it's the Profile series that we're putting into the community, and the gas is standard in the community. So
wait a minute, that's very important to a lot of people.
Sure.
In other words, you don't have to have gas, but you have it available to have gas?
Actually, gas is standard. So every home out there will have...
So you can cook with gas?
You can cook with gas. The water heaters are gas-driven. We actually have what's called tankless water heaters, which are extremely energy efficient.
What's a tankless water heater?
A tankless is if you go in your garage, there's not the typical cylinder sitting there. There's actually a box mounted to the wall. And what makes a tankless efficient is that you're not always heating water to sitting there. It's almost like on a not on a standby, but as you need water, it heats it almost instantly as it gets to the source. You're not paying for it to constantly just sit there and heat water that you're not using.
So you had to, when you were planning a lot of these, you really had to do a lot of research because you wanted this to be the city of the future in a way, didn't you? I mean, not the city of the future, but the development.
We want to be
really up there.
Up to times, if not a little bit further. And energy efficiency is obviously something that's very important to us. So we put a lot of thought process in that. And the other nice thing about the tankless water heaters, it actually just kind of gives you more room in your garage. So you don't have that stupid water heater sitting in a corner taking up space. So
that's right. But you only need one?
You only
for
need
a big
one.
House?
Sure.
Really?
We're going to make different size
to make it work.
Systems, yeah. But it's not on the floor, so you have some floor space.
Okay. The only thing I want to caution you about are smoke alarms, please.
Sure.
We live in an apartment. We have smoke alarms. And when one goes off, it drives.
Go off.
Well, the cricket sound, my dog goes berserk. I take out the battery, put the new battery, it doesn't work. Please do the best smoke alarms you can. They drive everyone crazy.
I agree. I have the same situation at my house from time
to
time.
What is it with smoke alarms?
Well, the ones we do, the battery is a backup in case the house loses power. So what that chirping usually is because the battery dies and the backup isn't there. What I always find frustrating, and I know it's always hard to find out which one is actually going. So you're like walking around your house
and that noise is driving you insane while you're doing it, right?
And have you ever noticed too that it's sort of like a crescendo, meaning it'll start at a very faint, and you're like, wait, did I just hear something? And over the course of a couple of weeks, it gets louder and louder and louder. Right. And you think you're going crazy in the beginning.
Exactly. In fact, I didn't know how to change the battery, so I quickly got onto Google, and everyone has a problem with this. And the one thing, it was a little video, and the guy takes the smoke detector and he has his car and he's running over it back and forth because he's going crazy. But you all do have smoke detectors.
Yes,
huh?
yes.
But you
Yeah,
have a different kind.
Yes, we did.
Can I hire you to come to my apartment, please, and put them in? Oh my goodness! I just had to say that.
I appreciate that.
It's one of those things. Well, that's good. Well, you're thinking well, and tell us about what kind of maintenance when you move in there. So you have your house. Are you responsible for the whole yard and everything, keeping it groomed?
No, the yard maintenance is actually in your association dues. So the association will maintain the lawn, trim the plantings that were installed at the time of your home. I mean, obviously, it's not like the landscapers are walking around with individual plants. I mean,
Sure.
as long as the landscaping isn't like a rainforest, usually they just take care of it. And we do tree trimming a few times a year, and the trees in the front of the home, the trees in the back of the home are really the only thing that's the...
So there's really no labor. It's not labor intense when you're buying a home in this situation.
No. I mean, I actually live in a Canadian community where we built years ago, and I mean, I got to tell you, like the lawn maintenance is really something. I don't even own a lawnmower.
Right.
So
Right.
during the summer times, we maintain the lawns once a week, and in the winter time, when the rain's not so bad, it's every other week. And then obviously the community is maintained by the association as well. But really is. I want to say it's maintenance free, but it's a low maintenance.
I think if I don't give some phone numbers here, people are going to be driving me crazy because they say, I want to know more about it. I got to go there. Okay. So let me give you a number to call, and it's 954-951-8524. That's 954-951-8524. And if you want to go to see what it looks like, there's lots of special things on their website. It's KHOVE, H-O-V, short for Hovnanian, khove.com. Then put a /Parkland, and then it'll take you to Parkland because, as Derek said, there's so many developments and communities that they've done that you don't want to mix it up. So it's khove.com /Parkland. And, this is all pre-sales. And if anyone lived here in South Florida, pre-sales, that's the way to buy something if you're going to buy it.
Sure.
So, I mean, you're very
especially
rare
now,
that this happens.
We do have, right now, with the introductory price, we have options that we're actually including in the base price. So come January, will actually be optional, meaning like we're offering 12-foot ceilings now standard, cabinet packages, some of the bay windows that on certain bedrooms and off of the masters that will be optional in January or standard now. So, obviously we're trying to create value for those that are purchasing prior to the models being constructed.
Well, be sure to get out there. It's really important you do that. Tell them that you heard the boss on the radio show, who's an architect, general manager, and everything else. Thank you so much. Wait, we didn't, just dogs. You're allowed dogs, don't you?
You are allowed dogs.
Okay, dogs. We need dogs.
We all like dogs.
Good. Thank you very much, Derek, for
You're
being
welcome. Thanks for having me.